Chris Wilder, your former teammate. What are your thoughts on him, Lee?
It was a heartbreaker, wasn't it, when he went? I didn't understand the thought process behind any of that, and it was real disappointing because you would have just thought they would have supported him more. And in my lifetime, this was the best era that I've ever seen Sheffield. And I mean, it was disappointing. It was in the COVID years that the fans weren't in there to be able to witness what was an unbelievable time. So I didn't think it was the right time for him to go, and it's heartbreaking to see him somewhere else now. But it'd be great to see him back one day, I think.
Ooh, never say never. Tell us about the managers you played under during your time at Bramall Lane. We're talking here from youth team to first team.
So Slady obviously was the youth team coach. John Dungworth and Russell Slade were the youth team coaches when we started out, and then we had, God, who was it? Nigel Spackman was manager for a while.
Oh, I'd like to know about Nigel Spackman because we all loved Nigel Spackman, but then
Mark Patterson didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then Mark Patterson said some not nice things about him. So what's your thoughts on Nigel Spackman?
He was great with me. I mean, I was very young, just trying to come into the team. He was the manager on my debut, I seem to recall. And so he was just the nicest man in the world, so far as I could see. But I was a very, very young kid during all of that time period that he was in charge. So he was good with me. But I was too young to kind of like have formed opinions on who was good gaffer, who was a bad gaffer at the time. And so I kind of just went along with it all. And I was sad to see him go because I felt like he liked me and he might pick me more.
He blooded youth. That's one thing that Nigel Spackman did. We couldn't deny him that because Howard Kendall had seemed fairly reluctant in some cases to blood some of the young youth players. There was players that we didn't even know about. And then suddenly Sunderland at home, first game, it's like, oh, who are these young lads? And they turn out to be, fantastic. You can't really imagine a better debut than Wayne Quinn, except you can because it happened on the same day with Vasper Buckis.
Yeah, I remember watching that game
in
the stands that day. I mean, Howard obviously had a lot more money than Nigel. I think he had a bit of a transition time, didn't he, where he had to blood players and he had to sell players and we had all of them go out. And that's a little bit, when we ran out of money, that's pretty much why me and Curtis got an opportunity so young, because there wasn't an awful lot else behind the first team that was getting sold off. So in one aspect, that kind of helped me. And then when he went, Tomo came in. Steve Thompson was manager for a couple of months, and that was a weird time. And I mean, Adrian Heath was the one that ended up selling me. We had some big names, really, didn't we, during that period? But yeah, I mean, Nigel was probably the one. Him and Steve Bruce were the best for me. And I loved Steve Bruce. I was disappointed when he just got let go at Newcastle because I'd love to see him with a budget. If he had some money, I wonder what he would do. But he was good for me during them early years, Well,
he's had a very good managerial career, really, you've got to say. But it almost feels like two different people because when he was the Sheffield United manager, he certainly was a little bit fitter than he is these days. Anyway, but
he was still playing.
He was, to be fair, he was still playing.
Give him a break.